It was a bright Tuesday morning in downtown Michigan, the kind of morning where the sun pours through tall glass windows and makes everything shine. Inside the First National Bank, customers lined up at the counter. Phones rang softly in the background. Papers shuffled. Everything seemed normal. But what was about to happen in the next few minutes would shake that entire bank to its core. At the front desk stood Jonathan Reed, the bank manager. Tall, clean suit, perfectly combed hair. He had that look on his face like he owned the world. And honestly, he acted like it too. Jonathan didn't just manage the bank. He controlled it. At least, that's what he thought. He stood behind the counter with his arms crossed, watching every customer who walked through the door. His eyes moved like a judge in a courtroom, deciding who deserved his time and who didn't. A young woman approached him nervously. She needed help with a loan application. Jonathan barely looked at her. "Come back when you have better credit," he said coldly. She walked away, embarrassed. An older man asked about opening a business account. Jonathan glanced at his worn-out jacket and waved him off. "We don't have time for small accounts today. Try another branch." The man left quietly, head down. That's how Jonathan ran things. Cold, proud, cool. But then the door opened, and in walked Tyler Grant. He was a black man in his early 40s. Medium height, clean fade, sharp gray suit that fit him perfectly. Leather briefcase in one hand. Calm expression on his face. He didn't look flashy. He didn't look like he was trying to impress anyone. He just looked powerful. In a quiet way, Tyler walked up to the counter and waited his turn. Polite, patient, just like everyone else. When it was finally his turn, he stepped forward and smiled gently at Jonathan. "Good morning," Tyler said. His voice was smooth, respectful. "I'd like to speak with someone about opening a corporate account. I have some business documents here." He placed his briefcase on the counter. Jonathan looked him up and down, slowly, like he was inspecting him. Then Jonathan's lip curled just a little. Not a smile. Something nastier. "Corporate account?" Jonathan repeated, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "You?" Tyler stayed calm. "Yes, I represent a company that's looking to do business with this branch. I just need—" "Listen," Jonathan interrupted, leaning forward on the counter. His tone changed. It got colder, sharper. "I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but we don't entertain people who walk in here pretending to be something they're not." Tyler blinked, confused. "Excuse me?" Jonathan smirked. "You heard me. Corporate account? Please, do you even know what that means? Or did someone tell you to come in here and waste my time?" A few people in line started to notice. Heads turned. Whispers started. Tyler stayed calm. He took a slow breath. "Sir, I'm not here to waste anyone's time. I have all the paperwork. I just need—" "I said no," Jonathan snapped. His voice got louder now. People definitely heard. "I've been doing this job for 15 years. I know who belongs here and who doesn't. And you don't." The entire bank went silent. You could hear the air conditioning hum. Tyler stood there, still, quiet. His jaw tightened just a little. But he didn't raise his voice. He didn't lose his cool. "I'm just asking for service," Tyler said softly. "The same service you'd give anyone else." Jonathan laughed. Actually laughed. Out loud. In front of everyone. "Service? You want service? Then go to a branch that deals with people like you." The words hung in the air like poison. People gasped. A woman covered her mouth. A man shook his head in disgust. But Jonathan? He didn't care. He stood there, arms crossed, smirking like he'd just won something. Tyler didn't move. He didn't argue. He just looked Jonathan straight in the eyes. Calm, steady, unshaken. "People like me," Tyler repeated quietly. "I see." He picked up his briefcase. Slowly, with total control. "Thank you for your time," Tyler said. His voice was still polite, still respectful, but there was something else in it now. Something that made a few people in the room feel uneasy. He turned and walked toward the door. Jonathan watched him go, still smirking, still proud. But as Tyler reached the door, he stopped. He turned back, just once, and he looked directly at Jonathan. "By the way," Tyler said calmly, "you might want to check your company directory when you get a chance." Jonathan frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" Tyler smiled. "Just a little. Not cocky. Not mean. Just knowing. You'll see." And with that, Tyler walked out. The door closed behind him. The bank stayed silent. Jonathan stood there, confused, a little annoyed, but mostly unbothered. He turned back to the next customer like nothing happened. But what Jonathan didn't know, what he couldn't have possibly imagined, was that the man he just insulted, embarrassed, and turned away was the CEO of the parent company that owned every single branch of that bank, including his. Tyler Grant walked out of that bank with his head held high and no anger on his face. No frustration. Just calm. He got into his black Mercedes parked across the street, sat down, took a deep breath, and pulled out his phone. For a moment, he just stared at the bank through the windshield. He'd been treated badly before. It wasn't new. But this was different. This wasn't just rude. This was cruel, public, intentional. And it happened in a bank that his company owned. Tyler scrolled through his contacts and pressed a name, Rebecca Hall, Chief Operations Officer. It rang twice. "Tyler, how'd the site visit go?" Rebecca's voice was cheerful. Tyler paused, then spoke carefully. "Rebecca, I need you to pull the employee files for the Michigan downtown branch. Specifically, the branch manager." Her tone shifted instantly. "What happened?" "Just give me the file. And schedule an emergency board meeting for this afternoon. Full executive team. No exceptions." "Tyler, talk to me. What's going on?" "I'll explain everything in the meeting," Tyler said. His voice was still calm, but there was steel underneath it. "Just make sure everyone's there, including HR and legal." Rebecca hesitated. She'd worked with Tyler for 8 years. She knew that tone. Something serious had happened. "Understood. I'll have everything ready in an hour." Tyler hung up. He sat there for another moment, staring at the bank. Then he started the car and drove away. But this story? It was just beginning. Back inside the bank, Jonathan Reed was having the best day of his life. Or so he thought. He stood behind his desk in his private office, sipping coffee and scrolling through emails. He felt powerful, untouchable, like always. His assistant, a young woman named Emily, knocked softly on the door. "Mr. Reed, there's a customer asking about the man who just left." Jonathan didn't even look up. "What about him?" She said she thinks she recognized him. She asked if that was Tyler Grant. Jonathan froze. His fingers stopped moving on the keyboard. "Tyler Grant," he repeated slowly. Emily nodded. She said she saw his picture in a business magazine last month. Something about him being a CEO. Jonathan laughed. Actually laughed. "A CEO? That guy?" He shook his head. "People see a black man in a suit and suddenly think he's Barack Obama. Tell her she's mistaken." Emily looked uncomfortable. "Are you sure?" She seemed pretty confident. "I said she's mistaken," Jonathan snapped. "Now get back to work." Emily nodded quickly and left. Jonathan went back to his emails, but something nagged at him, just a little. He opened a new tab on his computer, typed in Tyler Grant CEO, and then he saw it. A Forbes article from 3 weeks ago. Tyler Grant, the visionary CEO revolutionizing regional banking. There was a photo, a professional headshot. It was him, the same man, the same face, the same calm eyes. Jonathan's stomach dropped. He scrolled down. Read the article. Every word made it worse. Tyler Grant, 42, is the CEO of Unified Financial Group, the parent company overseeing over 200 bank branches across the Midwest, including Michigan, Ohio, and Illinois. Known for his hands-on leadership style, Grant often visits branches unannounced to assess customer service quality firsthand. Jonathan's hands started to shake. No. He clicked another link. Then another. Every article said the same thing. Tyler Grant wasn't just a CEO. He was a CEO of the entire company. The one that owned this branch. The one that signed Jonathan's paycheck every 2 weeks. Jonathan's face went pale. His mind raced back to the interaction, the insults, the public humiliation, the way he dismissed Tyler in front of everyone. "Oh, God," Jonathan whispered. He stood up so fast his chair rolled backward and hit the wall. He grabbed his phone, tried to call his regional supervisor. No answer. He tried again. Still nothing. Panic set in. He opened his email, started typing, stopped, deleted it. He didn't even know what to say. Then his desk phone rang. The caller ID said, "Corporate Headquarters." Jonathan's heart stopped. He stared at the phone like it was a bomb. It kept ringing. Finally, he picked it up. His hand was trembling. "Hello, Mr. Reed." The voice on the other end was professional, cold, female. "This is Rebecca Hall, Chief Operations Officer of Unified Financial Group. I'm calling to inform you that you've been placed on immediate administrative leave pending an internal investigation." Jonathan's world started spinning. "Wait, what? Why? What investigation?" "All details will be provided in writing. You're required to leave the premises within the next 30 minutes. Security will escort you. Do not access any company files or systems. Do you understand?" "Rebecca, please. There's been misunderstanding. I didn't know." "Do you understand, Mr. Reed?" His throat was dry. His voice cracked. "Yes." "Good. Someone will be there shortly." Click. The line went dead. Jonathan stood there, frozen, the phone still in his hand. Emily knocked on the door again. Her face was pale. "Mr. Reed, there are 2 security officers here. They're asking for you." Jonathan felt his knees weaken. It was happening. It was really happening. He walked out of his office like a man walking to his own funeral. The entire bank staff watched him. Whispers spread like wildfire. 2 security officers in black uniforms stood near the entrance. Professional, quiet, but firm. "Mr. Reed," one of them said, "we need you to come with us." Jonathan wanted to say something, to explain, to defend himself, but no words came out. He grabbed his jacket. His hands were still shaking, and he walked out of the bank he thought he controlled. The same door Tyler had walked out of just 1 hour ago. But Tyler had walked out with dignity. Jonathan, he walked out in shame. And somewhere across town, in a sleek conference room on the 12th floor of a downtown office building, Tyler Grant sat at the head of a long table surrounded by his executive team. He opened his laptop, pulled up a file, and began to speak. "Let me tell you what happened this morning." The conference room was silent. 12 executives sat around the long table, all of them staring at Tyler Grant. Waiting, Tyler stood at the head of the table, calm as ever. But everyone in that room could feel the weight of what was coming. Rebecca Hall, the COO, sat to his right. She had her laptop open, fingers ready on the keyboard. She knew Tyler, and she knew when he called an emergency meeting like this, someone's career was about to end. "This morning," Tyler began, his voice steady, "I visited our downtown Michigan branch, unannounced, like I always do." A few executives nodded. They knew Tyler's style. He didn't believe in warning people he was coming. He wanted to see the real operation, the real customer service, not some rehearsed performance. I walked and dressed professionally, briefcase in hand, ready to do business. I waited in line like everyone else. And when it was my turn, I asked to open a corporate account. Tyler paused, looked around the room. The branch manager, Jonathan Reed, looked me up and down, and then he refused to serve me. A few people shifted in their seats, uncomfortable. He didn't just refuse, Tyler continued. He insulted me in front of the entire branch. He told me I was wasting his time. He said I didn't belong there. He suggested I go to a branch that deals with... Tyler's jaw tightened. People like me. The room erupted. "What? Are you serious? He said that to you?" Rebecca's face went red with anger. "Tyler, I am so sorry." Tyler raised his hand. Calm, in control. "I'm not looking for apologies. I'm looking for action. He clicked a button on his laptop. A video appeared on the screen behind him. Security footage. From inside the bank. Everyone watched in silence as the scene unfolded. Tyler approaching the counter. Jonathan's body language. The smirk. The dismissive wave. The public humiliation. You couldn't hear the words. But you didn't need to. You could see everything in Jonathan's face. The arrogance. The cruelty. The racism. When the video ended, the room stayed silent. Then Michael Torres, the head of HR, spoke up. His voice was tight with anger. How long has he been with the company? 15 years, Rebecca said, reading from her laptop. Branch manager for 8. No major complaints on file. No complaints. Tyler repeated. He leaned forward. Or no complaints that were taken seriously? Rebecca's fingers flew across the keyboard. She pulled up Jonathan's employee file, scrolled through it, and then she stopped. Her face changed. "Oh, no," she whispered. "What is it?" Tyler asked. Rebecca turned her laptop around so everyone could see. "There are complaints. Lots of them. Buried in the system. Customers reported rude behavior, discriminatory treatment, unfair service. But every single report was marked as resolved internally by Jonathan himself." The room exploded again. He was investigating himself. How did this get past compliance? Michael slammed his hand on the table. That's a fireable offense on its own. He violated every protocol we have. Tyler nodded slowly. That's what I thought. He clicked to the next slide. A list of names appeared on the screen. These are the other employees at that branch. I want every single one of them interviewed. Today, I want to know who else knew about Jonathan's behavior, who enabled it, who stayed silent, and who participated. Rebecca was already typing. I'll have a team there within the hour. And Jonathan? Michael asked. Tyler's expression didn't change, but his voice got colder. Jonathan Reed is terminated, effective immediately. Escort him out, revoke his access, and make sure he understands that if he tries to fight this, we have enough evidence to bury him in court. Michael nodded. Done. But that's not all, Tyler continued. He pulled up another document. I want a full audit of that branch. Every account, every transaction, every decision Jonathan made. If he was bold enough to discriminate in public, I want to know what he was doing behind closed doors. And if we find more? Rebecca asked. Tyler's eyes were hard. Then we clean house. I don't care if it's 10 people or 50. If they allowed this culture to exist, they don't get to stay. The executives nodded. This wasn't just about one racist manager. This was about sending a message to every branch, every employee, every customer. This company would not tolerate hatred. Not quietly. Not ever. Meanwhile, back at the Michigan branch, chaos was unfolding. Jonathan had been escorted out. His office was being packed up by security. And word had spread fast. The staff gathered in small groups, whispering nervously. Did you hear? He insulted the CO. Wait, that was the CO. Oh my God, we're all getting fired. Emily, Jonathan's former assistant, stood near the break room. Her hands were shaking. She'd seen everything that morning. She'd watched Jonathan humiliate that man, and she hadn't said a word. Another employee, Marcus, walked up to her. He was one of the tellers. A young black man in his 20s. Emily, Marcus said quietly, did you know who that guy was? Emily shook her head. Not at first, but when that customer said his name, I looked him up, and I tried to tell Jonathan, but he wouldn't listen. Marcus stared at her. You tried to warn him? I did, but he didn't care. He thought he was untouchable. Marcus shook his head slowly. We all knew Jonathan was like that. We all saw how he treated people, especially people who looked like me. Emily looked down, ashamed. I'm sorry, she whispered. I should have said something. A long time ago. Yeah, Marcus said quietly. You should have. Before Emily could respond, the front doors opened. For people in business suits walked in. They carried briefcases and tablets. Their faces were serious. One of them stepped forward and addressed the staff. "Good afternoon. My name is Angela Ruiz. I'm with Human Resources at Unified Financial Group. We're here to conduct interviews with every employee at this branch. This is not optional. When your name is called, you'll meet with us privately. Answer honestly. Your cooperation is appreciated." The staff exchanged nervous looks. Angela's eyes swept the room. "Let me be clear," she said. "We're not here to play games. We know what happened this morning. We know there's a culture problem here, and we're here to fix it. If you were part of the problem, you'll be held accountable. If you stayed silent, you'll be held accountable. But if you speak up now, honestly, there may still be a chance to make this right." The room was dead silent. Angela pulled out a list. "Emily Carter, you're first." Emily's face went white. She stood up slowly and followed Angela into a back office. The door closed behind them, and one by one, the truth started to come out. Emily sat in the back office, hands folded in her lap, shaking. Across from her sat Angela Ruiz and another HR investigator named David Chun. They had notebooks open, recorders on the table. This wasn't a casual chat. This was an official investigation. Angela leaned forward, her expression calm but serious. "Emily, you worked here for 3 years, correct?" Emily nodded. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Yes." "And you were Jonathan Reed's assistant for most of that time?" "Yes." Angela clicked her pen. "Tell me what you saw this morning." Emily swallowed hard. Her throat was dry. I saw Mr. Reed refuse service to a customer. A black man in a gray suit. He was polite, professional, but Mr. Reed, he was rude to him. Really rude." "Rude how?" David asked, writing notes. Emily hesitated. She knew what she was about to say would change everything. He told him he didn't belong there. He said the man should go to a branch that deals with people like him. Angela's jaw tightened. "And what did you do?" Emily's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't do anything. Not right away. But after the man left, a customer told me she thought it was Tyler Grant, the CO. So I looked him up online. And I told Mr. Reed. I tried to warn him." "What did he say?" "He laughed. He said I was wrong. He didn't believe me." David looked up from his notes. "Emily, was this the first time you saw Jonathan treat someone this way?" Silence. Emily stared at the table. Her hands trembled. "Emily," Angela said gently, "we already know the answer. We've seen the complaint records. But we need to hear it from you." Emily's voice cracked. "No, it wasn't the first time." "How many times?" "I don't know. A lot. Maybe once or twice a month. Sometimes more." Angela leaned back. "And who did he treat this way?" Emily closed her eyes. "Black customers. Hispanic customers. Anyone he thought didn't have enough money. Or didn't look important enough. He'd make them wait longer. Deny them services. Find reasons to turn them away." "And you never reported it?" A tear rolled down Emily's cheek. "I was scared. He was my boss. He controlled my job, my paycheck. I have student loans. Rent. I couldn't afford to lose this job." David's voice was firm. "But you watched him hurt people. For 3 years." Emily broke down. I know, okay? I hate myself for it. But I didn't know what to do. I thought if I just kept my head down, it would be fine. That someone else would say something." Angela handed her a tissue, but no one did. Emily wiped her eyes. "No, we all just let it happen." Angela and David exchanged a look. Then Angela closed her notebook. "Emily, thank you for your honesty. We'll be in touch." Emily stood up, shaking. "Am I fired?" Angela's expression was unreadable. "That decision will come from corporate. But Emily, silence makes you part of the problem. Remember that." Emily nodded slowly and walked out. The hallway felt like a funeral. Other employees sat in chairs, waiting their turn. All of them looked terrified. Marcus was next. Marcus walked into the office and sat down. He didn't look scared. He looked angry. Angela noticed immediately. "Marcus, thank you for coming in. How long have you worked here? 2 years, Marcus said flatly. And what was your experience working under Jonathan Reed? Marcus laughed, but there was no humor in it. You want the truth? Always. Marcus leaned forward. Jonathan Reed is a racist. Plain and simple. From day one, he treated me differently. He questioned every decision I made, watched me like a hawk, criticized me in front of customers, made me feel like I didn't deserve to be here. David stopped writing. Did you report this? 3 times, Marcus said, his voice rising. I filed 3 formal complaints. You know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Every time, the complaint got sent to Jonathan himself, and he'd call me into his office, tell me I was being too sensitive, and threaten my job if I kept making trouble. Angela's face hardened. He threatened you? Not directly, but he made it clear, keep quiet or get fired. And the other employees? Did they see this? Marcus nodded. Everyone saw it. They all knew. But no one said anything because they were scared. Or worse, they didn't care. What about this morning? Did you see what happened with Tyler Grant? I saw the whole thing, Marcus said. I was at my station. I watched Jonathan humiliate that man for no reason. And honestly, I wasn't surprised. That's just who Jonathan is. David looked up. Did you know? Not until after. But when I found out, Marcus smiled. Just a little. I felt something I hadn't felt in 2 years. Hope. Hope that maybe, finally, someone will hold him accountable. Angela nodded slowly. Marcus, I need you to know something. What happened to you is wrong. Completely unacceptable. And we're going to make sure it doesn't happen again. Marcus's eyes got wet. He blinked quickly. Are you serious? Dead serious, Angela said. You did everything right. You reported it. You followed the rules. The system failed you, not the other way around. For the first time in a long time, Marcus felt like someone actually heard him. He wiped his eyes quickly. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Angela said. Wait until you see what happens next. The interviews continued all afternoon. One by one, the truth came out. Some employees admitted they saw the discrimination, but stayed silent. Others said they didn't realize how bad it was. A few, like Marcus, had tried to speak up, but were shut down. But the story was the same. Jonathan Reed had created a toxic, racist culture, and everyone either participated, enabled, or ignored it. By 5 p.m., Angela and her team had all the evidence they needed. They packed up their materials, thanked the staff, and left. The branch felt like a ghost town. Employees sat at their desks in silence. No one knew what was going to happen, but they all knew it wouldn't be good. That evening, Tyler sat in his office. Alone, Rebecca knocked and walked in. She looked exhausted. We finished the interviews, she said. And Tyler, it's worse than we thought. Tyler closed his eyes. How bad? Jonathan wasn't just racist. He was systematic about it. He built an entire culture around discrimination, and the staff either helped him or turned a blind eye. Tyler stood up and walked to the window. The city lights glowed below him. How many people are we talking about? Rebecca hesitated. Out of 20 employees at that branch, maybe 5 are salvageable. The rest either participated, enabled, or stayed silent for years despite knowing what was happening. Tyler turned around. His face was calm, but his eyes were hard. Then we do what needs to be done. Rebecca nodded. I'll draft the termination letters tonight. Make sure Marcus isn't on that list, Tyler said. He tried to do the right thing. He gets to stay, and I want him promoted. Rebecca smiled. Already noted. Tyler looked back out the window. This company was built on trust, on integrity, on treating people fairly. If we can't deliver that, we don't deserve to exist. I agree, Rebecca said quietly. Tyler took a deep breath. Tomorrow morning, we shut that branch down. We let go of everyone who failed to uphold our values. And we rebuild. From scratch. Rebecca nodded. I'll make the arrangements. She turned to leave, but Tyler stopped her. Rebecca? Yeah. Thank you for moving fast on this. She smiled. That's what we do. We fix what's broken. The next morning, the sun rose over downtown Michigan just like it always did. But nothing about this day would be normal. At 8:30 a.m., before the bank even opened to customers, 15 employees arrived for work. They unlocked the doors, turned on the lights, logged into their computers. Everything seemed routine. But then, at exactly 8:45 a.m., the front doors opened again, and in walked Tyler Grant. The entire staff froze. He wasn't alone. Behind him were Rebecca Hall, Angela Ruiz, David Chun, and 2 security officers. Tyler walked to the center of the lobby. Calm, controlled, powerful. Every employee slowly gathered around him. Some looked terrified. Others looked ashamed. A few looked confused. Marcus stood near the back, watching quietly. Tyler let the silence hang in the air for a moment. Then he spoke. Good morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tyler Grant. I'm the CEO of Unified Financial Group, the company that owns this branch, the company that signs your paychecks. You could hear a pin drop. 2 days ago, I walked into this bank as a customer. I was dressed professionally. I was polite. I was ready to do business. And I was refused service by your manager, Jonathan Reed, because of the color of my skin. Some employees looked down. Others shifted uncomfortably. But this isn't just about me, Tyler continued. Over the past 24 hours, my team conducted a full investigation. We interviewed every single one of you. We reviewed complaints. We pulled records. And what we found was deeply disturbing. He paused, let the weight of his words settle. This branch has operated with a culture of discrimination for years. Customers were mistreated. Complaints were ignored. And those who tried to speak up were silenced or threatened. Rebecca stepped forward, holding a folder. We've identified 15 employees who either participated in this behavior, enabled it, or stayed silent despite knowing it was wrong. The room felt like it was shrinking. Tyler's voice got firmer. This company was built on values, integrity, fairness, respect. And if you can't uphold those values, you don't belong here. Rebecca opened the folder and began reading names. Emily Carter. Emily's face went pale. She stepped forward, trembling. David Morrison. A senior loan officer stepped forward, head down. Rachel Kim. Stephen Walsh. Jennifer Ortiz. One by one, names were called. One by one, employees stepped forward. When Rebecca finished, 14 people stood in a line. Faces full of shame, fear, and regret. Tyler looked at each of them. Effective immediately, your employment with Unified Financial Group is terminated. You'll receive your final paychecks by mail. Your benefits end today. Security will escort you out. You have 10 minutes to collect your personal belongings. Emily started crying. Please, Mr. Grant. I'm sorry. I didn't know what to do. Tyler's voice stayed calm but firm. You had 3 years to do the right thing, Emily. 3 years to speak up, to protect customers, to stand for what's right. You chose silence, and silence has consequences. Emily broke down completely. Security gently guided her toward her desk. One by one, the terminated employees were escorted out. Some cried, some argued, some just walked out quietly, knowing they had no defense. Within 20 minutes, the branch was nearly empty. Only 6 employees remained. Tyler turned to them. His expression softened just a little. The 6 of you are still here because our investigation showed you either tried to do the right thing or you're new enough that you weren't part of the problem. He looked directly at Marcus. Marcus Thompson stepped forward. Marcus's heart pounded. He walked toward Tyler slowly. Tyler extended his hand. You filed 3 complaints. You spoke up when no one else would. You did exactly what we asked our employees to do. And for that, you were punished. Marcus shook his hand, still in shock. That ends today, Tyler said. Effective immediately, you're promoted to interim branch manager. You'll oversee operations while we rebuild this team with people who share our values. Marcus's eyes went wide. Sir, I don't know what to say. Say you'll help us fix this, Tyler said. Say you'll build a culture where everyone, no matter who they are, is treated with dignity and respect. Marcus nodded, his voice thick with emotion. I will. I promise. Tyler smiled. A real smile. Good. Because this branch is getting a second chance. And so are you. Over the next few weeks, the downtown Michigan branch was transformed. New employees were carefully screened, trained not just in banking, but in empathy, respect, and integrity. Marcus led the team with a quiet strength. He remembered what it felt like to be mistreated, and he made sure no customer ever felt that way again. The branch became known as one of the best in the region. Customer satisfaction scores skyrocketed, complaints dropped to zero, and word spread. News outlets picked up the story, not because Tyler wanted attention, but because people needed to hear it. CEO fires entire branch after discrimination incident. Company takes bold stand against workplace racism. One man's courage leads to systemic change. Tyler didn't do interviews. He didn't want to be called a hero. He just wanted to do what was right. But the message was clear. Racism wouldn't be tolerated. Not quietly. Not ever. 3 months later, Tyler visited the branch again. This time, he was greeted with smiles, warm handshakes, genuine respect. Marcus walked him through the lobby, showing him all the changes they'd made. New customer service protocols, community outreach programs, a zero-tolerance policy for discrimination of any kind. This place feels completely different, Tyler said. Marcus smiled. That's because it is. We're not just a bank anymore. We're a place where people feel safe, respected, valued. Tyler nodded. That's what I wanted to hear. As they walked toward the door, an elderly black woman approached Tyler. She looked nervous but determined. Excuse me, she said softly. Are you Mr. Grant? Tyler turned. I am. She smiled, eyes full of gratitude. I just want to say thank you. I used a bank here years ago, but I stopped coming because of how I was treated. I heard what you did, and I came back. And now, this is the kindest branch I've ever been to. Tyler's chest tightened with emotion. Thank you for giving us another chance. No, she said, shaking her head. Thank you for making sure people like me matter. She walked away, leaving Tyler standing there, quiet. Marcus stood beside him. You okay, sir? Tyler nodded slowly. Yeah, I am. He looked around the branch one more time, at the smiling faces, the respectful service, the dignity in the air. This was why he did what he did, not for power, not for revenge, but because every person, no matter their race, background, or bank account, deserved to be treated like they mattered. That evening, Tyler sat in his office, finishing up emails. Rebecca knocked and poked her head in. Heading out. In a bit, Tyler said. Rebecca smiled. You know what you did? It wasn't easy. A lot of CEOs would have just fired Jonathan and moved on. Tyler leaned back in his chair. That wouldn't have fixed the problem. It would have just hidden it. True. But now, that branch is a model for the entire company. Other branches are asking for the same training, the same standards. Tyler smiled. Good. That's the goal. Rebecca hesitated. Can I ask you something? Of course. When Jonathan refused to serve you that day, why didn't you tell him who you were right away? You could have ended it in 5 seconds. Tyler thought for a moment. Then he spoke quietly. Because I wanted to see who he really was. Not who he pretended to be in front of the CEO. I wanted to see how he treated people when he thought no one important was watching. Rebecca nodded. And now you know. Now I know, Tyler said. And so does everyone else. Jonathan Reed never worked in banking again. Word spread fast in the industry. No one wanted to hire a manager who discriminated against the CEO of a major financial company. He tried to fight the termination, but the evidence was overwhelming. Video footage, witness statements, complaint records he'd buried. He lost. Emily Carter eventually found work at a smaller firm. She carried the guilt of her silence for a long time, but she learned, and she vowed never to stay quiet again when something was wrong. Marcus Thompson thrived. Within a year, he was promoted again, this time to regional manager overseeing 5 branches. He became a mentor to young employees, especially those who felt overlooked or underestimated. And Tyler Grant? He kept doing what he'd always done, visiting branches, meeting customers, listening to employees, because he knew that real leadership wasn't about sitting in a fancy office. It was about showing up, paying attention, and standing up for what's right, even when it's hard, even when it costs something. Especially then, your character is revealed not by how you treat people who can help you, but by how you treat people who can't. Power without integrity is just tyranny in disguise. And silence in the face of injustice makes you part of the problem. Stand up, speak out, do what's right, because you never know who's watching. And more importantly, you'll always know what kind of person you chose to be